Good morning. I am George Rice III. I am humbled and honored to serve as the chair/co-chair of the 2024 Maryland Male Students of Color Summit. Give yourselves a round of applause for being here. I want to thank the committee. Time and time again, these people appear here on the screen now. I just want to thank all of you. To our committee, I just want to say thank you, thank you. I'm going to tell you thank you 3,000 times again. More specifically, I want to say thank you to our registration team who is behind you right now in lights. They have done a phenomenal job. And today, we want you all to be in a place where you feel safe, because that's important. We want you to be emboldened by who you are, not what you do. And when we say they not like us, and we will have Dr. Wallace so eloquently explain and give the occasion for why we are here, because I think sometimes some people may think that the notion of it may mean that we're trying to separate ourselves from anybody else, and that's not true. What we are saying is that who you are and the individual you are is the blueprint, is how you were designed. And so you're not like them. You're not like him, I'm not like him, you're not like him, you're not like him. And so with that, we want to welcome you, but my welcome means nothing, because I want to introduce to you all the 11th president of Montgomery College, none other than Dr. Jermaine F. Williams. He will bring greetings from the president's office, so please give him a round of applause.
My walk-in music. Every superhero should have theme music. There you go. Those of you who know, if you've seen the movie, you've seen the movie. All right, so thank you, Mr. Rice. Thank you, everybody who has coordinated this event. As people have heard me say, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. But I do want to say thank you all for being here, bringing you greetings. As you heard, I am the president of Montgomery College. How many people first time at Montgomery College? First time? All right. Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. Welcome. Montgomery College students, faculty, staff, welcome back. We appreciate you very much. Today is a great day. It's a beautiful day, not only professionally, but also personally. When I think about our society, and I think about so many changes that have occurred, but I also think about the changes that need to occur. And I'm going to kind of riff off of Mr. Rice said, how we're different. And I'm going to be brief, but I want to encourage you today to embrace the differences, right? Every moment that you have today, I'm just going to ask you to think about that and how it expands your mind, right? How it's something that you can grow from. You don't have to agree with it, but just let it resonate. Just think about it from a different perspective so that you have another tool in your toolbox so that we can go out and create the change that we seek. Because in order for us to go out and create the change that we seek, we need to be in positions for us to do that. And that's part of what this day is about, whether about expanding our mind, taking care of our body, right, checking in with our soul, right, being in our place of peace, right. We need to be in positions to create the change that we seek, which I will say is part of my journey and why I do what I do, because I wanted to be in a position to help create the change that I know I want to contribute to. So on that note, right, and within the context of helping to create the change that we seek, I just want to say welcome again. Thank you again for being here. We have awesome speakers like Mr. Kevin Powell, who you'll hear from in a moment. And you heard also Dr. Wallace. I could go down the list of people who will be here to invite you to think about the world as you know it, the world as it could be, the world as it should be. So please, again, embrace all these magnificent moments that you'll experience today. I know it will be such a wonderful event. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Mr. Rice. Thank you for everybody who helped to coordinate this event. I appreciate you all. Mr. Wallace? Dr. Wallace is going to come and share a few words.
Thank you, President. Give it up one more time for my president. Very grateful to be here with you all. Good morning. Y'all going to have to do better than that. Good morning. Now that's what I'm talking about. I'm here to present the occasion to you, and I made sure that I wrote it down so I don't become too long-winded. Somebody say amen. All right. The occasion, the prelude. We celebrate the rich history of males of color making impacts in vast endeavors throughout the entire history of the world, including education, politics, health, sports, music, and so many other contexts that it would just take too long to mention it today. This year's theme is adapted from the musician Kendrick Lamar's artistry. Lamar, a millennial who stands at 5 feet 5 inches tall, has elevated the musicality of the entire world, bringing together through his pop-out concert on Juneteenth weekend the likes of Creator, YG, Dr. Dre, Russell Westbrook, DeMar DeRozan, and many others. While those without historical or experiential knowledge may question the foci of these important connections, it is clear and apparent that there is much more, far beyond the lyrics of any one song, that forces the entire world to watch and to listen to dynamic writing and lyrical compositions that have been masterfully and metaphorically created. While we acknowledge the history of rap battling as resonated within the years of this year's theme, burgeoning from the late 70s, there has always been language that resonates across several cultures and genres. As Toni Morrison shared while delivering her Nobel lecture in 1993, we do language. With that in mind, these ideas for this year's summit are situated in forms of rich discussions, formal presentations, and a litany of activities provoking a number of rhetorical, persuasive opportunities to understand and underscore ethos and pathos and kairos and chronos and logos and all those other things your boring English instructors try to teach you. It matters. To demonstrate the need to support males of color within higher education environments, as well as making the case why these types of support are necessary, particularly under the shadows of marginalization, racism, bigotry, and many, many other exclusionary practices masterfully constructed to keep males of color within a permanent underclass. These are the ideas that the voting community members of MMSOC most likely considered prior to casting the votes to choose this year's theme. They thought that this was the most poignant for this year's titular subscription to the summit. Our invitation to democratize our theme by allowing stakeholders both to visibly and have the opportunity to have voice was heightened by our widely sharing the invitation to cast votes for this year's theme to a broad coalition of stakeholders. And so we are so proud that we were able to honor the voices of those of them who wanted to term this year's theme Not Like Us, They Not Like Us. Rightfully, and for the purposes of infringement, there have been slight changes made to the utilization of the copyrighted title, offsetting the analogy between the conference title and the song title. Also, by appropriating the idea in a more socially upward direction, it does reinvent a possibility to redefine what othering, belonging, and other constructs that work to either hinder or help males of color within institutions of higher education. So we are excited to offer these opportunities for males of color to experience through the fortified work of a collective that includes all races, all religions, national origins, genders, ages, abilities, sexual identities, races, and familial statuses, ensuring that we amplify the call to support and provide positive experiences and opportunities for students who have already been identified as some of our most prized yet vulnerable populations, persons like you all. So regardless, if you subscribe to albums, MP3s, 8-track tapes, audio cassettes, bootleg recordings, vinyl, rap, jazz, rock and roll, hip hop, gospel, country, R&B, Motown, doo-wop, go-go, heavy metal, reggae, trap, indie, pop, or any other major musical platform, genre of musical expression, you are welcome to join into the chorus of voices that amplify and resound the sounds of togetherness, supporting males of color across every single community college campus in the state of Maryland. Enjoy today's conference, make connections, and bring your full selves to the place because you, in fact and indeed, are welcome. Thank you so much. I have the amazing opportunity to bring together, right now, our incredible Dr. Ed C. Can I give you a little hip hop there? He's going to introduce our amazing presenter this morning, so give him a round of applause. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Good morning. Man, this is such a blessing to be here. Welcome to Montgomery College. I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker this morning, Mr. Kevin Powell. Mr. Powell was one of the most celebrated political, cultural, literary, and hip-hop voices in America. He is a prolific writer and a Grammy-nominated poet. Mr. Powell is a heavily sought-after public speaker who has lectured in all 50 states and on 5 continents. A native son of Jersey City, New Jersey, the human and civil rights activist has been engaged in nearly every democratic movement of the latter 20th and early 21st centuries, either as a servant leader, a behind-the-scenes advocate, or in a leadership position with fellow writers, artists, and change agents. Mr. Powell was raised by a single mother in abject poverty. At the tender age of 3, his mom introduced him to the importance of reading, and that persistent encouragement propelled Mr. Powell beyond his violent and impoverished surroundings. He enrolled at Rutgers University through the Educational Opportunity Fund, an initiative created during the Civil Rights Movement to benefit youth who otherwise lacked access to higher learning. As an author, Mr. Powell has written 16 books, including Grocery Shopping with My Mother, his 3rd volume of poetry, The Education of Kevin Powell, his critically acclaimed autobiography, which is now being adapted for screen, and his most recent title, The Kevin Powell Reader, which collects over 30 years of Kevin's literary output. Currently, he is working on a biography of the iconic rapper and actor Tupac Shakur, who he has interviewed several times as a founding senior writer for Quincy Jones's groundbreaking Vibe magazine. A vegan, 2-time New York City marathon runner, bicyclist, skateboarder, student of yoga, avid hiker, and member of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, Mr. Powell is a proud and long-term resident of Brooklyn, New York, and is happily married to Evangeline Lawson, photographer, filmmaker, writer, and an equal partner in every way. Folks, please put your hands together for Mr. Kevin Powell.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. Peace to y'all. Can we just, peace? Boy, does the world need peace, right? Peace. Can y'all do me a favor? Can everyone come to the middle, or some of y'all come forward if you're in the back? Even if you have to get up or leave, can y'all do that? Because we're going to be a community here today. Am I right, y'all? Yes, sir. Thank you for those words, by the way. Can we, come on over, come on over. Young brothers, can y'all move over to the middle? I'm asking y'all, please. And I want to thank God as y'all are moving for this opportunity. Amen. Amen. And whether you're Christian, Jewish, Muslim, some other faith, even if you're agnostic or atheist, you have that right. I just hope we all can agree that we're part of the human family. Can we agree to that? That's right. You know what I'm saying? I want to thank a few folks really quickly as y'all are moving. First of all, let's give a round of applause to Montgomery College. Shout out to Montgomery College. I'm just going to go down the list. I want to thank Michelle Williams-Love is out there from Hartford. Thank you so much. Can we give Ms. Williams-Love a round of applause? Coach George Wright, my alpha brother. Oh, I got to pull this thing up. Coach George Wright, my alpha brother. Shout out to you. Dr. Jermaine Williams, thank you so much. I know you got to split, but thank you so much for who you are. Dr. Hall is on his way. LaSalle Hall, Dr. Brandon Wallace. Dr. Brandon Wallace, thank you so much. Dr. Ed, how do you say your last name? Cabellin. Thank you so much. And most importantly, make some noise if you're a student. 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 Oh, and before I forget, because I'm a lifelong hip-hop head, yo, let's give some love to Dr. DJ Oxygen. You know what I mean? Honestly, when I saw you on the program, I got excited because I'm like, every program should have a DJ straight up. For real. That brings life to the program. Because I don't know about y'all, you know, I'm keeping it 100 with y'all today. Is that all right? That's all right. Can we say safe space? Safe space. Can we say no judgment? No judgment. When I was growing up in school, especially high school, man, I couldn't even tell you who the speakers were. They were all mad boring. There was no DJ. There was no music. They meant well. They said, go to college. I was like, all right, I got that memo, son. I'm good. Go to college. but I think it needs to be alive. Would y'all agree with me? Yeah. You know, I come out of the black church tradition. I also used to be a Muslim, and so it's like call and response is important. I'm not going to talk the whole time. I'm going to say a few things, then I want to ask y'all some questions, or y'all can ask me some questions. Can we agree to that? Yeah. Is that cool? But do me a favor, students, if you're able to. If you're not able to, that's cool, just where you are. But if you're able to, can y'all just stand up for a second? Students, the male students, can y'all just stand up for a second? DJ Oxygen, look at this picture, brother. This is a dope photo. Someone should take a picture of this right now. And as they're taking photos of y'all, I want y'all to repeat something after me. I live in Brooklyn, New York City. We're in the great state of Maryland, right? I wish someone would have asked me to say this when I was a young man. Just repeat it after me. I am a genius. I am a genius. I am a genius. Louder. I am a genius. I am a leader. I am a leader. I am a man. Man. I am a man. We're going to break down what a man is and what a man can be and what a man should be. Give yourselves a round of applause. Y'all can sit down. So I want to talk really briefly about this theme, which I think is brilliant. They not like us. You know, in fact, and thank you, DJ Oxygen, for playing Kendrick's All Right. That was the theme song for Black Lives Matter protests back in the summer 2020. Y'all remember, all over the country, all around the world. And Kendrick happened to drop this little record this year. You know, they not like us. They not like us. They not like us. They not like us. You know, for me, I want to start with the positives, right? Y'all are here. Because I think it's mad corny, keeping it 100 with y'all, when people talk about all the negative stuff that young men of color or men of color are dealing with or going through. When I was growing up, they would say things to me like, well, 1 in 4 y'all gonna end up in jail. How many of y'all have heard that? You know, all this negative stuff. I'm saying to y'all from the gate, y'all are geniuses, y'all are leaders, y'all are men. Y'all with me? Yep. And no matter how you identify yourselves, I want to make sure that we understand that all of us are brothers in this room. I don't care if you're straight, queer, same gender loving, disabled, differently able, however you identify yourself, black, Latinx, whoever you are. In fact, I love everybody. Because love is what we need in this world, y'all. In the spirit of James Baldwin, who would have been 100 years old this year, we actually need love in this world. And so when I hear They Not Like Us, you know, a lot of folks will say, well, it's just, that song was a diss song to Drake. That song knocked Drake out. No, it's not. It was bigger than that. If you actually listen to the lyrics of the song closely and also read the lyrics, Kendrick is giving us a history lesson. He's actually saying, you know what, we need to save hip hop, y'all. One of the things that caught me, DJ Oxygen, when I was coming in with my wife, shout out to my wife, DJ Oxygen was playing a range of music because DJ Oxygen, DJs are band leaders, right? He was saying to us with his music selection, this is what y'all come from. Am I right, brother? This is the greatness of our music. This is the greatness, the genius of y'all. And I believe with Not Like Us, that song, Kendrick is like, because I said to my wife when we were in the car coming over here, the Uber coming over here, like, yo, this song is like 5 different songs in one. You know what I mean? There's even like a nursery rhyme in there. We got a 2.5-year-old niece who shouldn't be listening to certain parts of the song, but she's been repeating O-V, not knowing what she's saying, but it's catchy, right? And so when I think about Not Like Us, we got to get back to our excellence, to our genius. Does that make sense, brothers? Yes. You know what I mean? I'm going to have a very honest conversation with y'all because, yeah, I've been blessed in my lifetime. Like, where am I at right now? I'm a husband. You know what I mean? I'm a husband. And that's very important to me because my father did not marry my mother. My father wasn't even in my life. I saw my father 3 times from the time I was born until I was 8 years old. And then one day he said to my moms, you know what? He ain't my son. You lied to me. I'm not going to give you a near nickel from again. He didn't even just say a nickel. He said a near nickel. I'm going to ask y'all, don't film this. They filming this from Montgomery College. Y'all can get copies of this. I want y'all to listen for a second. I put my cell phone down. I got mad stuff going on. I'm just asking y'all, can y'all put your cell phones down and just listen? Can we do that? Cool. They got the video. Y'all can get a copy of it. You know what I mean? Y'all going to get a copy of it. So the first example of manhood that I had, my father didn't even have respect for my mother. That's called sexism, y'all. This notion that men can do anything they feel like to women at any given time. Y'all with me out there? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And my mother would say to me when I was a child, don't be like your father. I was like, well, I don't really know him, so I don't know what to be. But then she would also say, you just like your father. How many of y'all have heard that? Which can cause kind of schizophrenia, like, well, don't be like him, but damn, I'm just like him. You know what I mean? My mother did the best she could with what she knew, but she was hurt. And so I take very seriously being married, having an equal partner, and learning how to listen to the voices and concerns of women. Yeah. Y'all with me out there? Yeah. I'm still learning. I have a lot to learn. Because the way I was taught manhood growing up, manhood is violence, manhood is fighting, manhood is ego, manhood is senseless competition, manhood is not being able to, boys don't cry. Can you imagine that? How many of y'all have heard, man, you shouldn't cry. You a sucker, you corny. Or we use some sort of homophobic term to describe a boy who expresses feelings. No. Men should be able to express a range of emotions. I don't care if you're black, white, Latinx, Asian, indigenous, no what your background is, there's something wrong when we can't express who we are. As I was in the car listening to Kendrick Lamar, not just All Right and Not Like Us, I was listening to some other songs just to get inspired to be here with y'all. There was one line that stuck out to me. I can't remember what song it was, but he talked about since adolescence, I've been dealing with depression. Raise your hand like me if you've been dealing with depression and some sort of mental health challenges since you were a very, very young kid. Can we say safe space? Safe space. No judgment? No judgment. And what I want to say to Dr. Wallace and Coach Wright, I looked at the whole agenda for today. This is an incredible agenda they set up for y'all. And one of the things that I love the most is that mental health is being addressed today. Yeah. Because we got to deal with our mental health, y'all. You know what I mean? This is very serious. And so when I think about, I'm a husband, I've written 16 books. My mama has an 8th grade education. Her mama, my grandmama, God rest her soul, she couldn't even read or write. I got 16 books. Think about that for a second. How old was I when I said my father left my mother and I cut us off? 8 years old. Guess what, y'all? About 10 years ago, I found my father's gravesite in South Carolina, where he's from. I went to the gravesite as a grown man because I was like, you know what? And God bless the fathers here. Shout out to all the fathers. Give a round of applause to the fathers here. Because black fathers and black and brown fathers do exist. But for those of us who grew up fatherless like me, y'all know what I'm talking about. You go through life with that father, that hole, right? And I'm like, yo, man, I don't want this to dog me through my teens, my 20s, my 30s. I'm mad at this person I didn't even know. So one day I decided to go to South Carolina. I've had a genealogist, someone who was able to look at my family history, help me find where my father was. I went to the gravesite. I dropped to my knees. I started crying for someone I never really knew, and I forgave him. And guess what I found out in the last couple of years? My father could not read or write either. Mercy. But his son got 16 books. What I'm saying to y'all, this is where I come from. Dr. Ed said it. Poverty, welfare, food stamps. We call them EBT cards now. You know what I mean? Government cheese. Am I right, brother?
Yeah, you're right about it.
You know what I'm saying? But the beauty of hip-hop, our culture that is now 51 years old, and the beauty of who we are, because we're geniuses, we're geniuses, we're geniuses. But y'all who just came in, we started off the program saying, what do we say? I am a genius. 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 Because we're going to start with excellence. No more deficits describing ourselves. You know what I mean? Because when I was growing up, single moms in the hood, man, we was like, man, I made it to 12. I made it to 15. I hope I make it to 18. I hope I make it to 21. Man, I hope I make it to 25. I hope I make it to 30. 30 is like middle age for some of us.
That's right. Yeah.
How many of y'all have heard that? Yeah. And I believe as a writer, as a poet, when you put words into the universe, when you put words out there, which is why I was listening to all the speakers before me, listen to your words, Dr. Wallace. You can either put words out there that are going to be giving you life, or we could put words out there that's going to give us death. I said, man, I want to live. 16 books. I've been in all 50 states in this country. I didn't get on a plane until I was 24 years old, y'all. I didn't even know you can get on a plane. I didn't go nowhere. My mom and them are from South Carolina, like I said, and we would just get on the Greyhound bus. We couldn't afford no train or plane. We got on the Greyhound bus, we'd come down south. We didn't have no car. There was no car. I barely was in a car the first 18 years of my life. Y'all feel me? I've been blessed. Seen this country, seen the world, things I couldn't even imagine. First time I went to Africa, man, you know what they said to me when I got to Africa? Welcome home, and I just started crying. But I felt like, here's my connection to the motherland, finally. I finally made it home. So I'm saying to y'all, if I can do it, given where I come from, anything is possible.
That's right.
What saved my life? Faith. Some folks call it God or Allah. Believe in something greater than yourself. I'm not pushing religion, but I do believe you have to have some sort of spiritual anchor. You know what I mean? Because when I think about it now, and this is why it's important for us not to diss women. My mother herself was an endangered species with that 8th grade education, minimum wage jobs, raising me by herself. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Rat and roach infested tenements, that's where I come from. You know what I'm saying? But she instilled in me like, man, you gotta believe that something is possible. My mom was saying to me when I'm 3 years old, you're gonna go to college, you're gonna go to college, you're gonna go to college. We ain't had no books in the house. My mama had never been on a college campus, but somewhere in her was like, you know what? Even though I had to give birth to this black boy, this boy of color, this male of color by myself, she had to call a taxi cab to go to the hospital, y'all, to give birth to me. That's how I came into the world. Then my name is Kevin Powell. I ain't got no middle name because my mama said she ain't had time for all of that. But you know how she got the name Kevin? She went up the street and asked a black woman that she knew, what should I name him? She said, well, hey, Kevin. My mom was like, bet, and she kept me moving. So I'm just Kevin Powell, no middle name. You know what I'm saying? Faith. Second thing I got that was important from my mama, you got to take education seriously. You know what I'm saying? Everyone in this room is a genius. 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 A genius. A genius, a genius, a genius. And I'm saying to y'all, man, how far did I say my mama went in school? 8th grade. But she grew up in the South during segregation before the Civil Rights Movement, which means that her 8th grade education was basically like a 4th or 5th grade education. So guess what, y'all? This only child, this male child of color, me, Kevin Powell, by the time I was in the 4th or 5th grade, my mama couldn't even help me with my homework. You know when I knew she didn't know certain things beyond the basics? She could add and subtract, but when I came home one day and said, Mama, I got to do multiplications and division, she couldn't help me no more. I was now on my own about 10, 11 years old with school. Y'all with me? I ain't got no daddy. My mama doing the best she could. And I'm like, I got to figure this out for myself from here. In spite of the circumstances I came from, I was an A student K through 12 because mama didn't tolerate no bad grades. You know what I mean? And she planted seeds in me. So 3 years old, she's telling me I'm going to college. She was teaching me the importance of reading. When I was 8 years old, she did something that changed my life forever. She took me to the library, y'all. She took me to the library. I discovered books. How many of y'all sports fans out there like I am? Big sports fans. Make some noise if you're a sports fan like I am. Woo. Word. How many of y'all from Baltimore? Ravens fans out there? Orioles fan out there?
Baltimore.
All day.
Baltimore.
I'm not even going to mention no New York teams because he stood up. And I love your suit, brother. That's a sharp suit.
Same as you, sir. This is for my mama, breast cancer.
Wow.
Sharp.
Wow. God bless your mama. Wow. So, safe space?
Safe space.
No judgment?
No judgment.
Raise your hand if you don't like to read. No, safe space. Are we judging anybody? No. Nah. So, how old was I when my mama took me to the library? 8. How old? 8 years old. Guess what I did, y'all?
Read.
But what did I? Yes. Who said that? You said that. Yes. Thank you for saying read. In fact, can y'all say read? Read. Word. The first books I read, sports books. 3 years of just going back and forth in the library from between ages 8 and 11. I'm a baseball fan, football. I was a football fan, basketball fan. Any sport I just read. If you don't like to read, raise your hand again. No space, no judgment.
No judgment.
Safe space.
Safe space.
What I'm suggesting to y'all, find something that you actually are interested in.
right.
For me, it was sports. For some people, it might be cars. DJ Oxygen, it might be about music. Am I right, y'all? Right. Some folks might be fashion. Find something. Now, I'm clear, not everyone learns from reading. So if you don't like to read, safe space, no judgment, but you can also listen to stuff, podcasts, audiobooks, am I right, y'all? Yeah. Or you could watch stuff. They're called documentaries, right? Yeah. You can do those things. What I'm getting at is that you have to be, if you're serious about being a great man, Dr. Wallace is talking about it, and in his introduction, his overview of this conference, you got to be a lifelong learner.
That's right.
You got to be a lifelong learner. You got to be a lifelong learner. You got to be a lifelong learner. Y'all with me out there? Yes. Safe space? Safe space. No judgment. No judgment. Word. So, 16 books. My next book is on Tupac Shakur, who lived in Baltimore for a little while.
That's right.
East side of Baltimore. Anyone from Baltimore out there? Word. Shout out to Baltimore. I love Baltimore. It reminds me of Brooklyn, where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? Don't let people ever dish your community, your hometown, because your community is dope because you're dope.
That's right.
Y'all with me? Come on, y'all. You know what I'm saying? One of the things I remember when I interviewed Tupac Shakur many times when he was alive at Vibe Magazine. I was in Vegas the day he died, y'all. One of the saddest days of my life. But Tupac always talked about how sad it was when he left Baltimore. He had to go to California because he was going to the Baltimore School of the Arts, and that's where he found his voice. Can you say my voice?
My voice.
Can you say my voice?
My voice.
My
voice.
My voice. Pac was not just a rapper, he was an actor. We don't know what kind of actor he could have been. He was only 25, Coach Rice. He was on his way. He was a young man. Know what I'm saying? When I was a youth, I got in a lot of trouble. How many of y'all have been accused of having a bad temper? How many of y'all have been told you need some anger management? How many of y'all have had to do anger management? How many of y'all have been suspended from school? How many of y'all have been arrested? How many of y'all spent at least one night in jail? Safe space? Safe space. No judgment. No judgment. So I was told that I had behavioral problems when I was a youth coming up. He don't know how to get along with nobody. He's angry. Well, think about it for a second. You growing up in the hood, you poor as y'all know what. You know what I mean? Mama is hurt and wounded and working overtime, working all these hours, and then she got this hurt because of my father, and then who's here to take the slings and arrows of that? Me. Not judging, I'm just saying that's the reality of what I came from. You know what I mean? And then the way I grew up, I don't know about y'all, I was told young people shouldn't even speak, just shut up. You know what I mean? So a lot of times I was like a walking time bomb, so where did I explode at? In school and on the streets. We was fighting all the time. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Because no one ever said to me, hey, Kevin Powell, when I was 8 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old, 15 years old, even 18 years old before I got out of high school, why are you so angry, young man? Where's this coming from? You know, are you a survivor of violence? I would have said, yup. Are you a survivor of abuse? I would have said, yup. You know, are you a survivor of being abandoned? I would have said, yup. You know, does poverty affect you? Yup. Poverty affects your mental, not just your financial, affects your mental, everything, y'all. It affects your spirit. Just surviving. How many of us, we're just surviving? Yes, yeah. But I want to win. Y'all want to win? Yeah. We want to win, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But no one said to me, Kev, we're going to teach you how to win. I just knew how to hustle and survive, right? And I was depressed a lot. I didn't know it was depression at the time, but I was sad a lot. You know what people used to say to me when I was a youth? Yo, Kev, how come you never smile, man? Why you always got a screw face on? Why you always look so angry? And I'd be like, I ain't gonna say the curse word because we're gonna be polite here today. But y'all know what my reaction was in my head. I'm like, I ain't got nothing to be happy about. You know what I'm saying? Because no one cared about the mental health of me. No one really cared about my spiritual health. And I'm not gonna diss the church. I go to a great church now in Harlem, New York, but the churches I grew up in, they were trash. They wanted our money. You know what I mean? Everybody put the preacher up on a pedestal. The preacher was living good. Yeah. Preacher had all the fried chicken. We was lucky if we had some bones. And I'm saying this as a Christian, y'all. But I'm like, everywhere I looked around me, I was like, you got the preacher who's crooked. You got the politician who's crooked. You got the police who are crooked. You got people in the community who are hustling and thieves and things like that. You got the junkies. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm trying to find myself. When I met the president of this school, the first thing I said to President Williams, I was like, man, it's good to see a man who's clearly of the hip-hop era as the president of this college. Because I was growing up K through 12, I was an A student. I never had one black or Latinx teacher or principal in my 13 years of school. I saw no one who looked like me. If you're a mentor here with these students today, raise your hand real quick. Can we give them a round of applause? Because even if you don't have a father, like I didn't have a father, it's important that you see someone. You see someone who's an example of what's possible. How he wears his suit jacket, how he wears his tie, how he sits, how he speaks. Y'all with me out there? Yeah. Because if you don't see that, then you're going to start emulating the stuff that could lead you to an early death or prison. Yeah. And trust me, those things are waiting for you because that's set up for you on purpose. Know what I mean? So my mama used to say to me, because by the time I was a teenager, I'm still an A student, but I'm out there getting arrested. But for the grace of God, they was trying to send me to juvie, the juvenile detention centers. You know what I mean? And, it's crazy, y'all, that we're in Maryland right now, because years ago, I had to speak at a juvenile detention center in the Baltimore area, and I met one young brother who had been a star athlete and an A student in high school, but he was in juvie, and he was on his way to a real prison. And I said, well, how did you end up here? He had a scholarship to Tuskegee University, Coach Rice. Mm-hmm. He said, well, you know what? I took the rap for someone who was a drug dealer. He said, you do take this rap because you're younger, they won't give you as much time. Well, they gave him time. My mother used to say to me, I don't think you're going to make it. That's how bad it was for me. What saved me? Faith, education, and a work ethic. Mm-hmm. I love to work. I love to work, and I don't like being lazy. Just getting over. Just doing enough to get by. Or what James Baldwin said, just being mediocre. Y'all with me out there? Yeah. There's no reason why every single genius in this room, every single scholar in this room, y'all should be A students. If you want an associate's degree, you got that. You want a bachelor's degree, you got that. Master's degree, you got that. If you want to get a PhD, you got that too. But you got to apply yourselves. If you need some examples of what's possible, when I got to college, Rutgers University, I knew no black history, no Latinx history, no Asian history, no indigenous history. I didn't know basic American history. You want to know why there was so much confusion in this country right now? No matter what the identity of most people in this country, is because most people in this country who call themselves Americans don't even know American history. Don't know anything. Don't know anything. They just know what they're taught and they just push it out. There's no critical thinking. You know what I mean? And so I get to college, I knew no black history. Someone said to me, man, check this out. It was an album cover called Message to the Grassroots. And on the name of the album cover was Malcolm the 10th. It was actually Malcolm X. But I saw the X. I thought it was a Roman numeral 10. I said, who's Malcolm the 10th, yo? It was Malcolm X. But we're laughing, but I realized I was ignorant. There's nothing wrong with being ignorant. It just means you don't know something. Am I right, y'all? Right. Ignorant just means you don't know something. There's a lot of stuff I don't know. My wife is the smartest person I've ever been with in my life. I learned so much from her. I'm like, thank you for helping me be less ignorant. But there is something wrong with being what I call enthusiastically ignorant. Not only you don't want to know something, man, what I need to know that for? Why I gotta learn that? What am I gonna do with that? That don't matter. Yeah, it does. Everything matters. Everything that goes into your brain matters. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go back to DJ Oxygen for a second. As we were listening to those of us here, he was playing a range of music because I'm saying to myself, man, he has a rich and broad vocabulary musically. He loves music. Am I right, brother? You study music, don't you? Learn forever. So I was told I should read the autobiography of Malcolm X. I read it. It's 500 pages, y'all. And these times, folks are like, man, that's too long, son. I ain't trying to read all that. They got some cliff notes or something. But you should read it. I think every male of color should read the autobiography of Malcolm X cover to cover. Changed my life. Barack Obama talked about how it changed his life. You know what I mean? It saved my life, I would say. Malcolm had a family of about 10 siblings, a father and mother. His father was a follower of Marcus Garvey. Anyone from the West Indies know what I'm talking about? From the great country of Jamaica. Shout out to the West Indies, y'all. He was a Garveyite. You know what I mean? His father was African-American, Garveyite from Georgia. His mother was from the West Indies, from the great country of Grenada, from Grenada, right? This is important. Why is this important? Because as I'm reading the autobiography of Malcolm X, I'm like, I'm getting history lessons I didn't even know. Who was Marcus Garvey, right? Grenada. I knew a little bit about the West Indies, but of course, a lot of us just thinking about Jamaica and Bahamas. I said, the West Indies is vast, y'all. There's many countries. And I look at how Malcolm's life crumbles when his father is killed by some white terrorists, some white supremacists. They literally put him on a train track and ran a train over him and split his body in half.
Yep.
Yo, know what I mean? It destroyed Malcolm's family. Malcolm ended up in foster care. Malcolm X ended up in foster care. Guess how far Malcolm X went in school? How far did my mother go in school? What grade? 8th grade. Malcolm X only went to the 8th grade. And then he ended up on the streets. And then he ended up in jail for 7 years. And in jail, his first year or two, his nickname was Satan because Malcolm was just wilding out because he was angry. Remember we were talking about anger earlier? But then he found someone who became a role model, a mentor, named Bimby in prison, and he said, I see something in you. I see something in you. I see something in you. You might even not see in yourself. You are a genius. I see something in you. You might even not see in yourself. You are a genius. This society was created on racism and sexism and other isms to break you. And my job, and your job, and Dr. Wallace's job, and Coach Rice's job is to say, we are going to see the genius in you and help you build back up to who you're supposed to be. That's right. So Malcolm, come on. So Malcolm in prison with an 8th grade education. He could not even understand his own handwriting. Started reading the dictionary with the letter A, the word aardvark, and he read the whole dictionary. And he kept reading and reading and reading to the point where Malcolm X, who went to jail with no eyeglasses, had to get glasses because he was so in love with reading at that point that he would even read when they turned the lights off in prison with just a slit of light. I'm reading this book as an 18-year-old. And I started crying. I was like, man, I finally found my father in Malcolm X.
Wow.
I finally found who I want to be in Malcolm X. I want to be like him. I want to be like him. I want to be like him. Even if you sink to the bottom, anything is possible if you just believe in yourself. Y'all with me?
Yes, sir.
That's why this conference is so important today. This summit is so important today. Don't take this for granted. These folks who put this together love you the way I love you. They care about you the way I care about you. We're tired. That was 18 years old when I read that book. I'm now in my 50s, y'all. I've been doing this work trying to help other people my entire adult life. I'm tired. I'm tired. I know what black and brown men go through all around this country.
And that's upsetting what they go through.
Man, you know what's upsetting to me? I don't care if it's Baltimore, New York City, Los Angeles, Oakland, every city I go to, I've never seen so many black men homeless on the streets of America as I've seen in the last few years.
Yes, sir.
It used to be folks who were 60 and 70, older people. Now I see brothers who are teenagers, 20s, 30s on the streets, homeless, talking to themselves, laying out on the streets, because who really cares about you? I do. Dr. Wallace does. Coach Rice does. We care about you. We love you. We believe in you. Black women believe in you.
That's right.
The women in our communities believe in us.
That's right.
You know what I mean? The women in our communities believe in us. Cheryl Williams, love, where you at, sister? She believes in us. You believe in us deeply. Every single time she's invited me to her school, Harford College, she's always talked about we got to help the brothers. We got to help the...
Take your time.
Thank you. So I'm saying to y'all, listen, in January, we have a film coming out called When We Free the World. That's something I've been working on. You know, it's a documentary film. It's about manhood and it's about fatherhood. We have 70 black male voices in the film, but the film is for all folks who identify as males. We have straight brothers, queer brothers, trans brothers, disabled brothers, formerly incarcerated brothers, brothers in college, because we're not going to separate brothers. We need all brothers together, y'all. We need all brothers together. And the film is honest. We talk about mental health. We talk about violence. We talk about suicide. Safe space? Safe space. No judgment? No judgment. How many of y'all been as depressed as I have been in your lifetime where you're like, you know what, I don't want to live no more? How many of y'all have been like me where alcohol used to be my best friend? Or weed or some other safe space? Safe space. No judgment? No judgment. I would do anything to numb the pain, y'all. Anything to numb the pain. How many of y'all know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Anything. How many of y'all feel like you just out here by yourselves? How many of y'all feel like no one understands me? How many of y'all feel like no one understands me and my family? Right? Safe space? Safe space. No judgment. No judgment. We got to talk about our mental health, y'all. Right. You could be an A student. You could be very successful with a career. But you also, man, listen, y'all, a couple years ago, the film that we have coming out in January is dedicated to a brother I held him in my arms when he was a baby. Me and his father, he's frat too, Brother Rice. I held him in his arms when he was a baby. He went to Morehouse College, graduated. Got into USC Film School. Guess who he went to USC Film School with? Well, he was John Singleton was one of his mentors, but his classmate was Ryan Coogler, as in the Black Panther. Nice. They were homies. His other classmate was Steve Capel, who did the Transformer movie and Creed 2. This brother, his name is Tariq, a couple years ago, committed suicide. Everybody was like, yo, he went to Morehouse, graduated. He went to USC, graduated, had just gotten a fellowship at HBO. But guess what? No one ever said, even me, and I was like his uncle, one of his uncles. Not focus on your grades only or your career or your job. No one ever even bothered to ask, how are you doing, brother? How are you doing, brother? How are y'all doing, brothers? How y'all doing, brothers? You know what I mean? But if we are stuck in this manhood script, this box that tells us to be a man is just to suck it up and not say anything. Tariq had bought a gun in 2020. That was the year that Biden ran against Trump. He had bought a gun because he was concerned about the Trump supporters. He turned that gun on himself and shot himself in the head. Damn. Yeah. I'm saying to y'all, we gotta take care of our mental health. If someone tells you that a man doesn't do that, the man doesn't express himself, doesn't cry, you need to go find some new friends. That's right. That's right. Word up. Because this stuff will destroy you, this will eat at you, or you'll do anything to numb the pain. You know, who did I interview many times when he was alive? I was in Vegas when he died. Tupac. Guess what, y'all? Tupac died in September 96. 6 months later, I'm from Brooklyn. Biggie gets killed in LA, right?
Yeah, speaking of which, those two used to make tunes together, but then somebody with the baby oil came in and instigated the beef.
You said the baby oil. Sir, I have no idea what you're talking about. I am not on TikTok. I'm not on Instagram. I don't know what you're talking about, sir. I know, I'm just playing. It's crazy how baby oil has become like a conversation all over the country. Okay. Folks investing in baby oil. I got baby oil stock. No Diddy. Calling him the diddler. I mean, y'all are. But you know what? We're laughing about it, and it's funny, because like me and my wife always talk about, yo, you want some jokes? If you're not feeling good any days, go on social media, especially Instagram, and just read the comments, yo. Folks be bugging. Folks be saying anything. I'm like, would you say that to someone's face? Nah. But underneath that, since you brought it up, manhood should not be beating on women. That's right. Manhood should not be beating on women. Manhood should not be saying unapologetically, oh, women will like everything. You could just grab them by their... That's right. Manhood should not be dissing brothers who might be different than you. Y'all with me? Yeah. You know, manhood should not be, I'm just going to exploit and go off on people and control people and dominate people. Y'all with me out there? Yeah. And your manhood, men of color, should not be, yeah, we got to deal with racism every single day of our lives, but just because you have to deal with racism doesn't mean you should also become an oppressor, a hater. Manhood should not be, you know what, I've been hurt, so I'm going to take it out on women or queer folks or disabled folks, anyone else who's other, I'm going to other them. What kind of manhood is that? You know what I mean? Warped. It puts you in a box. You think you're free, but you're not really free. As much as I'm a hip-hop head, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. And yeah, people were caught up in all the stuff with Kendrick Lamar and Drake. That's cool if that's where you are. But what I was paying attention to was Kendrick, the video where I see Kendrick with his wife, his partner, and his children. He's a father and he's a husband representing. Not what he said about Drake and getting all caught up in the sensationalism of it. Y'all with me out there? Yep. And manhood should not be, y'all go and support Barack Obama and all these male candidates, but the moment that Kamala Harris, a woman of color, comes along, I don't know if I can support her. I don't know if I can support her. I don't know if I can support her. I'm like, wait a minute, y'all. Or I'll speak for myself.
Here's the thing, like, they know that Trump is the biggest threat, you know?
Well, you said it, divide and conquer. I'm saying to y'all, hey, voting is not the answer for everything, but it's a tool in the toolbox. And if we agree that in Maryland, and I know this for a fact, just like New York where I'm from, most of the folks in the prisons are black and brown men, males of color. Guess what, y'all? If you're not voting at all, you might be putting some people in office as district attorneys or judges, just by not voting, who are actually caught up in, like, let's put as many of them in jail as possible. That's right. When you don't participate at all. But we also need to be organized, which is why this summit is important. This is an organizational effort. Let's bring us together and talk about these issues. Y'all with me out there?
Yes, sir.
Y'all with me?
Yes, sir.
And we got to become, in fact, can y'all just say hashtag? Read, study, travel. Hashtag, read, study, travel. Now, what's that word with a G that said y'all were at the beginning? Then if you're a genius, then you can't be an N-I-G-G-A or E-R or U-H, y'all. Either you're going to be a genius or you're going to be an N-I-G-G-A. Which one you going to be? You're going to be a genius or you're going to be an N-I-G-G-A. Well, Kev, it means friend, it means brother. Nah, man, that's a word that was created by white supremacists to put you in a box. And if because you're a genius, come up with a new word.
Yeah.
Come up with a new word. You know what I mean? And I'm not telling you what to say. Safe space, no judgment. I'm not going to stand here and lie to y'all and say, I don't curse. I definitely curse. My wife don't curse. I curse. I've been cursing since I was 4 or 5 years old. My mama curses. She go to church every other Sunday, and she curses like the best of them. She curses like Chappelle, Chris Rock, Richard Pryor put together. And she also says, blood of Jesus every chance she gets. And then mother right after that. But what I'm saying, words have power. Either you're going to be a genius, like this agenda that was created today, or you're going to be an N-I-G-G-A. James Baldwin, don't know who he is, look him up. In The Fire Next Time, he says, when you agree that you're nothing more than an N-I-G-G-A, you're making peace with being mediocre. You just want to be average. I'm like, I'm a genius. I ain't no N-I-G-G-A. Where does this word come from? And what other people are allowed to call themselves that, and it's put on, it's digitized and shipped all around the world musically at this point? No one could ever answer the question. What other people? The word, what's even the equivalent of that word? You know what I'm saying? So I'm a lifelong hip-hop head, y'all. The DJ, MC, graffiti writer, dance element. What's the fifth element of hip-hop? Knowledge. The DJ, MC, graffiti writer, dance element. The fifth element of hip-hop is knowledge. Hip-hop was created by African-Americans, Latinx folks, West Indian folks in the Bronx, New York. My wife's from California, from the West Coast. Shout out to the West Side. African-Americans, Latinx folks created this culture called hip-hop there as well, right? It was supposed to be about life, making something out of nothing, winning on your own terms. But somewhere, hip-hop got turned inside out and manipulated, and it's become about drug culture and scripper culture, killing each other, and just darkness. Yeah. Which is why Kendrick's songs were so welcome this year, right?
Yeah.
When he says, and not like us, let me put you up on game, he's making references to slavery. Where in those plantations, you were pitted against each other and against yourself. And you were told you were N-I-G-G-A. And some of us believed it, and we passed it along for generation to generation. Was my father in my life? Guess what I found out when I found my father's family 10 years ago and I forgave him at the gravesite? I got like 12 sisters and brothers I didn't even know existed. And then what I began to realize, wait a minute, my father was no different than the black men who were in those plantations who were taught, just be baby makers, just be baby makers. You're just gonna breed, we're just gonna breed you. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And the next time y'all think about saying something crazy about Kamala Harris, think about how people have talked about black women historically as Jezebels, as loose. You know, I don't even like it when they call her mama. I'm like, black women are not the mamas or mammies or nannies for America. She's a highly intelligent sister. African-American and South Asian, Jamaican, West Indian, and South Asian, who's going to be president of the United States, whether some people like it or not. That's right. You know what I mean? But regardless of, I'm not here to tell y'all who to vote for. What I'm saying is, don't let your vote be based on your hatred of women. That's right. Your ignorance of women. What did I say I knew about black history when I got to college? Nothing. Guess what? What did I know about women's history when I got to college? Nothing. So how am I going to call myself a man and say I'm fully formed? I don't know anything about half the world's population or half the country's population. Does that make sense, y'all? So I began to realize I got to evolve. I got to hashtag read, study, travel. I'm going to leave y'all with this because I want to wrap this up and get a couple quick questions, and I know y'all got a full day ahead of y'all. 6 things, and take out your phones, please, for a second. 6 things to help you be a greater man, a great man. 6 things to help you be a great man, a greater man. And honestly, DJ Oxygen, I had my notes over here. I've been freestyling the whole time because I'm like, let's just go in the spirit, y'all. Let's just go in the spirit, the Holy Spirit as we call it, right? Yes. I like you. What's your name? Kapal. What is it? Kapal. Kapal? People call me Joshua. Joshua. Peace to you. I love your spirit and your energy, brother. You dope. You are dope. You're a genius. So number 1, if we're serious about being a greater man, where's your spirituality at? Real simple definition of spirituality for me is, love. What's wrong with love? Nothing. What's wrong with love? Nothing. What's wrong with kindness? Nothing. You know what I mean? What's wrong with supporting other people, helping other people, y'all? What's wrong with that? Spirituality, like, what do you believe in? What do you believe in other than yourself? Again, you could be atheist or agnostic. I'm not talking about religion. I'm not talking about organized religion. That's your own personal decision. But I'm like, is there some sort of anchor holding you up? In other words, how many of y'all, safe space? Safe space. No judgment? No judgment. Keep it a mother effing 100 with me. How many of y'all have wilded out on people violently like I have in my lifetime? Wilded out on people violently in my lifetime. Had no problem hitting somebody, shooting at somebody, stabbing somebody, something violent. You know what I think about now? When I think about that old Kevin, man, he was spiritually lost. He was spiritually lost. He was spiritually lost. I can't even imagine hurting another human being now. Actively hurting. Self-defense, yes. But just actively going, yeah, I'm going to mess you up. Y'all with me? Because I'm like, I need to have some sort of spiritual anchor. When I first met my wife, one of the things she kept saying to me is that she believes that kindness is a practice, love is a practice. And I was like, damn. Ain't no one ever said that to me before, but I'm with it. I want to practice love. I want to practice kindness. I want to care about people. Does that make sense, y'all? No matter who they are, I want to care about people. That's my spiritual anchor. Y'all with that? What's wrong with that? You know what I mean? Because I come from Brooklyn, son. Brooklyn has nicknames like Brooklyn, as in Vietnam, violence everywhere, because that's what we're taught. We're brainwashed into believing the only way you can be a man is to be violent. Nah, man, it's the other way. What's wrong with peace? What's wrong with peace? You know what I mean? What's wrong with being quiet sometimes? What's wrong with meditating or praying, right? Anyone Muslim out there? Anyone Muslim out there? Make salat 5 times a day. Am I right, brother? Yes, 5 to 7 times. And one of the beautiful things when you see Muslims, they just stop. Let me just be still. It's a powerful thing. Am I right, brother? Assalamu alaikum. Yes, sir. Alhamdulillah. Spirituality. What is anchoring you? What is guiding you? Because if it's this world, man, that's why a lot of us are lost. Just out there floating. Number 2, how to be a greater man. What are you doing politically? And I'm not just talking about voting, but like, are you actively engaged in your community, your college campus, wherever you live? Do you care about where you are at? You know, when I got to college, Rutgers University, not only was I told I needed to read, but like, Kev, you got to get involved. You got to become a leader. You got to become a leader. You have to become a leader. But you have to learn how to add things to your leadership toolbox. That meant hashtag, read, study, travel. You got to know who you are. You can't just say, well, I'm black, I'm Latinx, I'm Asian, you know, I'm indigenous, I know who I am. And you don't know any history at all. Where's your people from, Dr. Ed? Philippines. The Philippines. I have Filipino Pinoy family members. Man, some of my best friends, I grew up in Jersey City, big Filipino community, right? My wife's from California, San Diego, big Filipino community. History of the Philippines, how did we get here? Why do Filipino folks have Spanish last names? What does that have to do with the Spanish and colonialism? Am I right, Dr. Ed? And I'm not even Filipino, but like not only did I learn my history, I have a responsibility to listen to other people. If they're Jewish, Italian, Irish, whatever their backgrounds are, who are you? Where'd you come from? Because part of the problem in our country, America, in 2024, most folks don't even know where they come from. I'm just white. I'm just black. I'm just Spanish or Latinx. I'm just Asian. You know, why does it matter? It matters because if you don't know who you are, you might not like yourself. You might not love yourself, which means you might not like or love people who look like you, who come from your same group, and you certainly won't have any love for other people who are different than you. Think about that for a second, right? So politically means being aware of the world that you live in. We can't just digest music and social media all day, every day, or sports all day, every day. My wife will tell you, I'm a sports fiend, yo. On my iPhone, I got mad sports apps. You know what I mean? I don't know where we were yesterday. I'm like, let me check the baseball game. Are the women playing tonight? You know what I'm saying? You know, what's happening with football? But at the same time, I got a lot of news apps. It's called Balance, y'all. It's called Balance, y'all. I noticed that y'all have a great session. I think it's brilliant what y'all are doing today. A session about video games. How many of y'all are video games folks like I was growing up? Look at those hands, Coach Rice. Yo, and guess what, y'all? The film we got coming out in January, it has a lot of special effects emulated from video games because I realize a lot of us will not even watch a documentary if it ain't even visually exciting, like a video game or a music video. Does that make sense, y'all? But as you play these video games, the profound question in the agenda that I saw, how are you being represented, who you are as a male of color in video games? Yep. I'm like, yo, son, that is gangster. I've never seen that asked at any conference until this summit today. That's powerful. So when we say political number 2, you gotta question everything. You gotta question everything. Real education means being a critical thinker. Man, you know why I was an A student K through 12? Because the teacher gave me stuff and I just gave it right back to them. And I did it really well. That's not education. That's just repeating stuff. That's like being an animal that's being trained. You know what I mean? Real education is you put yourself in the world. You see yourself in the world. Because you are a what? Starts with a G. You are a what? Genius. So that means if I'm a black or brown person, I understand, hey, man, when I sit in this auditorium today and I see these electric lights, yeah, they're going to tell you that Thomas Edison created these lights, but there was a black man named Lewis Latimer who was working side by side with Edison. If I go to Washington, D.C., they'll say all this stuff about the founding fathers, but it was a black man named Benjamin Banneker who created the grid that is Washington, D.C. Are y'all with me out there? Yeah. You know what I mean? This history is important, is important, is important. Right? When I drove through Baltimore to get here, I'm like, there's the Reginald Lewis Museum. Reginald Lewis, the first black billionaire in this country. We don't even learn about him in school. Are y'all with me out there? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because when you don't, guess what I was the first 18 years of my life, not seeing, I didn't even know I could be a writer. So my high school yearbook said I wanted to be an accountant because I didn't know that black writers existed. Y'all with me? Yeah. I got 16 books. People come up to me now, man. Young brothers and sisters come up to me like, man, it's good to meet you because you're not dead. You're not a dead writer like they teach us in school. It matters to see yourself. It matters to hear someone named Coach Rice or Dr. Wallace. In our film, Dr. Wallace, we got 12 black men who are PhDs in the film. Go ahead. 12. And we purposely say in front of their names, doctor. Because we're like, people need to understand, like Dr. Hall, Dr. Wallace, you can do this. Politically means anything is possible. Who created hip hop, y'all? We did. It was actually poor people, African Americans who were poor, West Indians who were poor, Latinx people who were poor. They made something out of nothing. Think about hip hop. 2 turntables, some vinyl records, a microphone, some spray paint, magic markers. It's a multi-billion-dollar global industry. Poor people created that. Yeah. The same poor people that Dr. King told us not to forget created hip hop. Yeah. If they could do that, how are you not going to graduate from college? Who knows what else they could do? If they could do that, how are you not going to get some advanced degrees? If they could do that, how dare you call yourself the N-word or call someone who looks like you the N-word ever again when you should be saying genius? Y'all with me? If Carter G. Woodson, the father of black history, he was in his 20s when he graduated from high school. He went on to get his PhD. 100 years ago, he creates Negro History Week. It became Black History Month. This brother didn't get out of high school until he was in his 20s. Y'all with me out there? Kevin, how do you know this? Because I hashtag read, study, travel. And I ask questions. Number 3, what's number 1 if you want to be a greater man? Spiritual. Number 2 is what? Political. Number 3, culturally. Yo, I love hip hop. But if all you listen to is hip hop, you in trouble. If you listen to hip hop and never bother to say, let me see who the samples are from at least. You know, who is Frankie Beverly and Mays? Who are the Isley Brothers? Who's Nina Simone? Who's Aretha Franklin? Are y'all with me out there? Who are the Last Poets? Are y'all with me out there? You know what I mean? Gil Scott Heron, Parliament Funkadelic. Who are these people that we've been sampling for 51 years? Yeah. So for me, I see hip hop as an education. I have a responsibility to say, wait a minute. Okay, this is dope, what I listen to from Kendrick Lamar, Public Enemy, Common, MC Light, whoever it is, but I need to know what came before it. I'm a jazz head, y'all, now. You know what I mean? I love the blues, y'all. You know, when I come to the DMV, I'm like, yo, go-go music is African music. Go-go music is dope. My wife's family's originally from Chicago. They step out there. You know what I mean? Culturally means you need to know who you are. I can't stress this enough, because if you don't know who you are, certain presidential candidates will say to you, you know what, I'm going to create an ugly shoe for $400. I'm going to sell it to you because I believe that's all you into is sneakers. If you don't know who you are, some presidential candidate will tell you that so-called immigrants are coming here and taking your black jobs, not knowing that your black job is your very being. The fact that you exist is a black job. The fact that you're alive is a black job. Y'all with me out there? Yes, sir. You know what I mean? But if you don't know who you are culturally, people will say all kinds of crazy stuff to you. And culturally, 2024, you know, my mother is a beautiful black woman who has to be dark-skinned, but in 2024, because we still have serious issues around colorism, if you're lighter, you're still better, quote unquote. If you're darker, we call you all kinds of names. We talk about good hair and bad hair in 2024. If you're saying that kind of self-hating stuff, men, in 2024, someone's got good hair and bad hair, someone is not as attractive if they happen to be darker complexion, you are nothing more than a self-hating human being.
Right. That's right. Come on. That's right.
And how can you be mentally healthy, spiritually healthy, politically empowered if you don't love yourself culturally? Know what I mean? I represent it all. When my wife go to Jamaica and the West Indies, we representing everything. Wherever our people are, we love us. We love us. We love us. When I hear they not like us, I don't think it's just him saying we're not like whoever's in front of us, but also what we aspire to be. I come from self-hatred. I come from poverty. I come from calling myself an N-I-G-G-A. I don't want to be that anymore. I want to be a genius. Because not a lot of people like us aspire to be geniuses. We aspire to be mediocre. Number 4, you want to be great? Be smarter than me financially. When I was young. Did I have money growing up, y'all? When you get money, when you poor, what do you do with it?
Spend it.
Yo, how many of y'all know what I'm talking about? Safe space? No judgment? Yo, I've been working since I was 8 years old. Mom's just like, yo, you got to get a job. My first job was bagging groceries. I delivered newspapers. I delivered groceries, all kinds of stuff. And I spent it as fast as I could in video games. You know, clothes, stuff like that. Hooking up my friends who should have been working but were standing on the corners, you know what I'm saying? And then I get to college. I got to college for free. But guess what they did in college? They sent us pre-approved credit cards. I was like, yo, free money. because I was financially illiterate. I was financially illiterate. I still struggle with it, which is why, how many of y'all saw the movie Fences with Denzel Washington, Viola Davis? August Wilson. And August Wilson, y'all, who won 2 Pulitzer Prizes, only went to the 8th grade as well. Bad black man. Look him up, August Wilson. But guess what? One of the scenes that affects me the most in Fences, when Denzel would come home from work, he would put that envelope in his wife's hand because he understood his wife was the money manager in the family. You know what I mean? Like, my mama is now 81 years old. She got 0 debt. She never made more than probably $15,000 in her life working. But she's like, I ain't wasting my money. And I'm saying to y'all, our manhood cannot be tied to what we own, what we buy. If it ain't property, if you don't have a business that you own, then what are we doing? We're just going to be economic slaves for the rest of our lives. Y'all with me out there? No one tells us that. And every generation, we keep spending money. It's not just us. Do y'all know that years ago, I talked to Magic Johnson, legendary basketball player. You know what he said to me? 80% of the football players, NFL, and basketball players, NBA, end up broke after their careers are over. Because there's no financial awareness. Y'all with me?
Yeah.
Y'all with me?
Yeah.
Save your money. How many of y'all are teenagers or 20-somethings right now? Okay. How many of y'all in your early 30s? Okay. Save your money. Save your money. Save your money. And in these times, there's no excuse. You can just whip out your phone, Google how to save my money. How to be financially empowered. Am I right, brothers? Yep. You know what I mean? Number 5 and 6, real quick. Real quick. Number 5, your physical health. Your physical health, your physical health. Woo! You know, listen, I talked earlier about how a lot of us duck and dodge all kinds of madness when we were teenagers in our 20-something. Some of y'all probably in the middle of the madness right now. Am I right, y'all? Safe space, no judgment. Then guess what's happened to a lot of people in our generation? I got brothers in their 40s and 50s now dropping dead of preventable stuff. Yep. We survived our teens and 20-somethings, and now people are dead that I grew up with, or man, 40s and 50s, successful brothers. I'm like, everybody, what's happening here? There are things like cancer we can't control, but I got friends who are dying of stuff that they could actually prevent. I'm not telling y'all what to do. I'm a vegan most of the time. That's my lifestyle. Did I grow up eating every part of the pig? Absolutely. And beef and chicken and everything else. No judgment, safe space, right? But when I was growing up, I drank soda all the time because in the hood, they sell you soda, a lot of sugar stuff and everything else. I used to think water was disgusting to drink. I'm like, I'm not drinking no water. Y'all bugging. I'm not drinking no water. Now I'm like, man, can I get some more water? I need some water. Can you hear my New York accent? Water. You know what I'm saying? Water. That's my New York, right? East, Northeast, water. I need water. And we need to, if you're able to, exercise some part of your body. Walk. Take in nature. You know what I mean? Do something that takes care of your physical. Do not treat your body as a garbage can. I'm not telling y'all what to do. I've smoked and drank in my lifetime. Boy, have I. Boy, have. Sometimes there's episodes people will remind me, Kev, you bugging. You like do yoga now? And all like, yo, you used to be that dude that was wilding out. Yes, I was. I'd be drunk at the party, drunk after the party. You know what I mean? I'm being serious with y'all because I think it's BS for a speaker to come in front of y'all and lie to y'all. Yeah, that's right. You feel me? You know what I mean? It's BS for a speaker to act like they never did anything. I did it all. I treated my body like a garbage can, but I'm like, yo, man, I want to live. I want to live. And if we're serious about being empowered and being great, you already know the society looks at you in a certain kind of way. Why contribute to it by destroying yourself? No judgment. I'm glad that weed is legal because God knows a lot of black and brown men have been put in jail in past generations for selling weed or smoking weed. But I know a lot of people who can't go a single day without smoking cannabis, without smoking weed. And vaping is out of control, y'all. You know what I mean? Anything to numb the pain, to not deal with stress. You know what? Tupac, when he died, when we were there at the hospital, when he died, one of the things they said, he had smoked so much cigarettes and weed from the time he was a preteen. At 25, his lungs was messed up.
That's like one of the lungs.
I know. Thank you, brother Joshua. And I'm saying to y'all, you know what someone said to me when Pac died? Imagine Tupac had just done meditation or yoga. Right? Physical health, brothers. Physical health. How much time we got, Coach Rice? 2 minutes. Last one, mental health, mental health, mental health. We've talked about it already. But it's 6 areas. What are the 6 areas to be a greater man we got to work on? What's 1?
Spiritual.
Number 2?
Political.
Number 3?
Cultural.
Number 4?
Financial.
Number 5?
Physical.
And number 6, mental health. Just close your eyes for a second. Just close your eyes and just breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Just for a second. Consider doing this on a daily basis. Every day that I wake up, I pray and meditate. I thank my Maker for being here. And I pray throughout the day. But also breathe as much as possible. Because no one ever taught me how to breathe either. Slow down, stop. This country moves so fast now. Think about that you're all geniuses here. You're all powerful. You're all beautiful human beings. We're going to be different kind of men. We're going to be better men. You know, our manhood is not going to be based on hurting anyone else or ourselves. We want to be healthy men. We want to be healthy men. We want to be healthy men. We're going to be healthy men. I'm saying all this because I'm inspired by the agenda that I saw for today and all the great folks you got coming before you today. I'm inspired by Coach Rice and Dr. Wallace and all the folks who put this together, Dr. Hall, Ms. Williams-Love, all the folks who committed to make this happen. We've been talking about this for a few months, but I believe in y'all and I love y'all. I believe in y'all and I love y'all. Y'all are geniuses. Y'all are geniuses. And I want you to heal. Can we say heal? Heal. Can we say heal? Heal. And I want us to be great. Can we say great? Great. Can we say great? Great. Give yourselves a round of applause. And do me a solid. Just, don't put the brother arm between you. Just hug the brother next to you, person next to you. Just give someone a hug. Just do that real quick. I'm done. God bless y'all.